Who's up for a laid-back and laconic unboxing video that you could probably just leave on in the background while you do something else? This was a panic buy. It's also the second time I've diverged from my original intent of only collecting the Picard figures from X06. The first divergence would be the Ensign Ro, which I didn't do a video on because I wasn't feeling well around that time, but there is a TikTok unboxing of that one. Had I done a longer video on that one, I would have highlighted how, as great as the figure appears to be, there was one issue involving the right shoulder popping out of its socket, and the pivot joint was locked. So every time you put the socket, the ball joint back into place, when you tried to move or pivot the arm, the shoulder, it would actually pull out again. So once you solved one, you could solve the other, and once I got everything working again, it's an incredible figure. So yeah, I might talk about that at the in the end of year video. But for now, I didn't think I was going to buy this one. This popped up on eBay from an Aussie seller interstate for around about or a little more than original retail, which is quite amazing considering that most of these sold out figures tend to go for quite a lot more. And then one night I think I received a discounted offer, and I had a discount voucher with eBay, and yeah, I thought, why not? Let's not miss out on this opportunity. Wasn't intending on collecting the First Contact range. In fact, I was sort of inching towards collecting the TNG versions at one point. I hadn't decided if I was going to open up the collection a bit more, because we're nearing the end of the Picard range anyway, but I thought to myself, if I missed out on this one, I was going to kick myself. So, well, he's here now, so let's get into it. Actually, we'll do this way. There we go. Oh, I'm out of the picture. And yeah, he's all packed in. This is brand new and still sealed in box. The tape is all intact. In fact, it actually came in still with the original shipper box, sealed, and unfortunately the seller didn't send it in another bigger box. Like I get it, this is the shipper box, but a little extra protection would have been nice. Fortunately, they sent it via courier, which explains how it arrived safely, but yeah, it took an extra week to do so. But he's all in there, and so let's move here. We're back onto the old Sony camera now, after my little experiment with the DJI kind of failed, I guess. Anyway, so let's get right into it. Do I want to peel this or slice into it? You know what? I'm slicing into it. So this, if I remember correctly, was X06's first product, I think. And it was released in, what, 2021? Oh. Let's get some of this plastic off. The little booties come off. Wow, that uniform already feels fantastic. Okay. Got some gloves that come off, protect the hands. There we go. And then leaving till last. Boop. So far there's a bit of a loose thread on his uniform, but that can happen often. Nothing I can't fix. Wow, that is lovely and pristine. I love that. Let's see if we can adjust this collar a little bit. There we go. That is an excellent head sculpt. Gorgeous likeness. Although you do wonder if it's easier to do a sculpt like this because the paintwork doesn't have to be flesh-like and realistic. It does have to replicate what their makeup was, so they've achieved the right, as far as I'm concerned, the right level of sheen. Some might think it needs to be a little shinier, but then you're kind of debating whether or not, you might be confusing it with the early days of TNG, but that looks incredible. Let's see how that works. Yeah, that is incredible. Looking very tall as well. I'm used to the Picard figures being slightly shorter, but yeah, he is nice and tall and slender. So that's fantastic. Let's see if we can get a close-up of the comm badge there. I'll probably just get some B-roll of it, but yeah, the uniform looks marvellous. Let's move on. Let's get some more out of here before I get too distracted. The Type 3 phaser rifle. That's great. It's one of my favourite phaser rifle designs. Got a few clips for the stand. We have phaser with its magnetic holster. That's great. Tricorder with magnetic hinge. That's great. I love how they've done this. And its holster, also magnetic. The usual collection of spare hands. Yeah, they also have that Sung android sheen to them in all his Laura Palmer glory, wrapped in plastic. And there we have it. Oops. That is fantastic. What I was saying before about the flesh-coloured paint job, they've done a magnificent job here. Yeah, the little drop of his fringe there, that is great. I will fit that on later, but let's get more stuff. So here's the stand. Here's the alternate transporter pad plate. Yeah, not as satisfying as it usually is. Oh yeah, there's bubbles on the plate because there's some film on there that I'm not going to take off yet. Oh, wait a second. Oh, I forgot. Delicately. Oh, ripped it. I forgot the nameplate, the autograph plate. That's for getting signed and placing it on the front of the stand. Cool. I'll put that to the side. The likelihood of me meeting any of them, unfortunately, is very, very low, living in Adelaide, South Australia. I mean, some of them have popped up at conventions before, and mainly to do with the luck of the draw, I guess. Anyway, there we go. Let's actually move some of the... Oh, no, wait. I do want to add... There we go. Where's the magnet? There. Yeah. Sorry to go a bit quiet. I'm really just appreciating the work that goes into it. I'm not... I can't be that chatty when I'm really distracted by how bloody awesome this is. And yeah, like every other figure they've created so far, it looks like the character has jumped off the screen. If I'm correct, the first time, yeah, this was their very first release. I mean, under the very first release under the banner of X06, because if you know the history of it, some of the people were in a different company producing 1/6 scale Star Trek stuff. They went out on their own to create X06, and here we are, getting some beautiful work every single time. Not always perfect, I'll say that, but just magnificent work. Okay, so there's some fluff on his back, which probably came from the table, actually. This is just fantastic. I love the pleating on the back of his uniform is great, because he doesn't get the captain's jacket that Picard has. So I think Kim, Riker, and Worf had this sort of style jumpsuit uniform, and you can actually see on the side here the elastic around the waist. They've replicated that as well. Oh, it's magnificent. It's weird how one of my favourite elements of these uniforms is the comm badge. Sure, you can't take them off. That's probably a good thing. You're bound to lose it. Just like those, what was it called? The figures from Dragon models had, I think, removable comm badges, or at least badges that you had to apply with a permanent double-sided tape, which just seemed odd. Yeah, I'm always going to be so enamored with how they've been able to miniaturize the costume making process, because this is beautiful. Alright, you know what? I think I might do the head swap now. So, I do want to check out how that looks. Oh, that was much easier than I thought. I thought I was going to struggle trying to pop that off. Maybe they knew. Oh, okay, putting it on might be the big challenge. Looks like that may have worked. Unless... Okay, let's do that. Ensure it. I mean, I could just get a hairdryer and try to warm up the plastic a little bit. But, like I said... Well, like I forgot to add lazy to the end of laid back and laconic, so... How does that look? Sorry, I'm just going to look at his sleeve to see if there's, like... Did they do that? I don't think they did. I don't think they did the flesh-coloured... choose my words carefully. That looks great. I'm just going to keep saying that over and over again. Just that looks so good. That looks so great. Looks amazing. Because, yeah... After so many of these... After multiples of these videos unboxing X06 figures, there's very little to say about the quality of them all. Unless they started, you know, moving them by themselves, or they went the other end and they were really terrible quality, then I'd have something new to say. But just, there's something dissatisfying about getting something and it's like, yeah, no, it's bloody good like you expected. That's the reliability of X06, I think. Like, I can nitpick things about their work, like maybe it's too expensive, maybe there's, you know, not enough accessories, or like with the Ensign Rowe figure, oh, the shoulder joint fell out, but, you know, I fixed it. Things like that. But then again, it's sort of like, Alright, maybe we put the old head back on, or the default head. Ooh, that just clicked on. Do this properly. The collar gets hidden behind the grey yoke a little bit. I mean, it's there, but yeah, there. And I need to kind of get something else. There we go. Huh, they're the same. Oh, no, there is a height difference, but I think Picard has shorter legs. That's why I was sort of amazed or a little taken by how long Data's legs were. But yeah, that looks cool. As I pointed out before, the difference between the captain having a jacket and the other male crew members having that sort of jumpsuit. Do I want First Contact? Do I want the entire crew of First Contact now? Because you'd have to have Zefram Cochrane, wouldn't you? If you want to create the cast, you'd have to have Lily and Zefram. Anyway, I'll put all Baldy to the side for the moment, because there's one more thing I want to do a comparison of. This is the 12-inch Playmates figure from 1998, maybe 99. I can't remember. It was their 12-inch range after they sort of relented and went, oh, let's stop doing the 9-inch Mego scale. Let's actually do proper big doll sizes. And yeah, I'm glad they did, because these are really nice. Next to each other, what do you reckon? I've got to admit, for back then, for how simple they were making these dolls, that's not terrible. Although, that is. Tempted to say we've come a long way, but at the same time, there was no doubt X06 were going to make something so bloody amazing. I don't know what else there is to say without repeating myself. I mean, I've been repeating myself throughout this video, but yeah, X06 do incredible work as always, and there was no doubt this was going to be the same case. And I've got to admit, I'm glad, in hindsight, to have taken the plunge with this figure. As I said at the beginning, I was mainly focused on the Picard figures, and now this is my second deviation from that. I don't know, I might be in trouble now, but I do not regret getting this figure. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I think this might edit together rather quickly, and yeah, do all the usual like and share and subscribe and all the rest of that. Hopefully you enjoyed this unboxing, and yeah, catch you on the next one.